In retirement, peace of mind comes from knowing that you have income to cover not only your need to live expenses, but your live your life expenses too. Retirement today can span 20, 30, 40 years and beyond, and life is going to happen along the way. Understanding your income needs is crucial to living your best retirement. I'm Jessica Cannella, president and co-founder of Oak Harvest Financial Group, and today I'm going to help you outline what expenses you ought to consider if you're having a conversation about planning for income with your financial advisor. For ease of understanding, I like to begin by breaking down the expenses into 4 different categories. And we're going to focus on the first category right now, which is your need to live expenses. I want you to think about routine fixed expenses that you know you'll continue to pay in the foreseeable future. Things that you need to live. So let's run through a quick list here to get you thinking. Utilities. You need to be able to keep the lights on in your house or the roof over your head, whether that's a mortgage payment or your rent. The way that you get to work, think auto loan if you finance your vehicle, or the gas that gets the car to move. Your property taxes, I would lump in here. There's 2 things that must happen. We've all heard it. We're going to die and we're going to pay taxes. So I would say that if you own your home, property taxes are a need to live expense. You don't want the IRS knocking at your door. Also, loans in general. Any type of personal loan, financial loan, construction loan, loans cost interest, and it's important that you are making a plan to pay those off. I'd also add the food that you eat, your groceries you need to eat to live. And on this list, I would go ahead in this time and place and add cell phone bill on there as well. In this day and age, our cell phone is a need to live necessity that we pay for. Next on the list, I want you to think of live your life expenses. So we just covered need to live expenses. Now we're going to talk more about the type of expenses that are consistent with your lifestyle, the extras that make life enjoyable and more comfortable. Here are a couple examples of lifestyle expenses under the live your life category. Personal maintenance, things like haircuts, maybe nail appointments, also entertainment or special experiences. Home maintenance like your lawn care or your pool care and your vacation budget. Subscriptions and memberships that you have, like your gym membership or your Netflix subscriptions. The little things that make life more enjoyable. Maybe for you, it's dinners out with your family and friends or your significant other a couple of times a month. Or extra holiday spending and gifting. Whatever it is, the little extras that make life enjoyable would go under the category of live your life expenses. When we talk about retirement planning, it's really those first 2 categories that we're looking to drill down deeper with our clients. We want to know first, what are their need to live expenses? What income do we need to generate from their portfolio so that they can live their life and get all of their bills paid to keep life going? Need to live. Second, we look at what are their live your life expenses. When we go from working to retiring, we don't want our lifestyle to change necessarily. In fact, in our go-go years, the first 10 or 15 years post-retirement, we might want to live life to a fuller extent and really enjoy the fruits of our labor. And so my team and I, we tend to focus on need to live expenses and live your life expenses when we're talking about what is the target goal for an income stream based off of investment tools, strategies, and financial planning with regard to your portfolio. Next, we're going to talk about live your best life expenses. We don't need these expenses right away for our planning, but if you know that you'll be splurging in the near future, you'll want to share these with your advisor. And here's a couple examples of what live your best life expenses entail. Bucket list travel. Maybe for you it's a dream home, or maybe you're downsizing, but you want to put a little bit of extra money into making it just the house that you really want because it's going to be the last house that you live in. These are the fun expenses that it's important to share with your advisor, but you're not always going to be taking a bucket list travel trip. And so we don't want to lump those in from a planning perspective with our need to live and live your life expenses because these are a little out of the ordinary. For one of my clients recently, her best life dream was to get her and her granddaughter Taylor Swift tickets, and she called me and knew that we needed a plan for that little extra. Next, we have when life happens expenses. Now, no one has a crystal ball, but when you're talking about a lifespan of 20, 30, 40 years in retirement, it's safe to say that life is going to happen. And sometimes that looks like we get to spend money on living our best life. And in this case, it looks like you might need a new roof. Maybe a pipe burst in your house and you have an expensive home repair. Maybe you have to come out of pocket to care for a loved one. These are when life happens expenses, and this is the most critical time to have a team of professionals to turn to so that you can put yourself in the best possible position to understand where is the most practical place, tax efficient place to take income from outside of your planned income needs. In conclusion, if you're at the phase in your planning experience with a firm or an advisor and you're having difficulty drilling down deeper into what do they mean by they need your monthly expenses, please click the link in the description box because I have for you the spreadsheet that we use with our clients to help you dig a little bit deeper, and it's categorized just as I've laid out this video. It categorizes our need to live expenses, our live our life expenses, our live our best life expenses, and our when life happens expenses. And for planning purposes, I will reiterate, what your advisor is probably looking for is going to be your need to live expenses and your live your life expenses. But this will get the ball rolling for you and your spouse as you have that conversation with a qualified advisor. Thank you so much for tuning in and look forward to seeing you back soon.